Another thing that happened recently is that Esri Ireland had a contest, Story Maps contest, and they called this Maps Make Sense. And I think all of us would agree that maps make sense, and they make even more sense when we use them inside of these interesting applications like story maps. And this is their website, which showcases the winners of their contest this year. And one of the really interesting things was the prize for the winners was to come visit us in Salzburg here today. So what I'd like to do right now is invite a couple of the winners to join me up here on stage. So please welcome Rosita Mahoney and Tony Wade, and they are the representative winners. And what I'd like them to do is just to briefly take us through a tour of their story map and maybe tell us their ideas behind it and what they did to create it and so forth. And I should explain that Tony is actually a staff member, and this was his winning edition here. So he won the best of staff competition, and Rosita, of course, won the overall really grand effort. And I'll just turn it over to Tony to take us for a drive here.
Thank you, Bern. Every day at Esri Ireland, I get to work on interesting and exciting ways to visualize data. But as Bern said earlier, making maps can also be for fun. So when the opportunity came up to make maps for the Maps Make Sense competition, I took it as an opportunity to make a map for fun for myself and my friends. So I went ahead and used the Map Journal application to build a Simpsons Story Map. So this map allows users to go through Springfield, the home of the Simpsons, to go through each of the characters and discover their story of where they are and where they're from in the Simpsons. While I was having fun, I decided not to stop there. I went beyond that and I used other parts of the story map series. I created a search map so users can search for maps or places in The Simpsons. So you can zoom in and have a neat little pop-up to bring up more information about certain places. I also took this as an opportunity as well to build a 3D viewer of Springfield so users can pan around and have a look and see what Springfield would look like in a 3D view. So that's it. I'd like to also congratulate other members of the Maps Make Sense competition, Dara McDonough, John Hawkins, Barry Doyle, and Stephen Boyd, who also won. But I'd like to also congratulate the winner as well, Rosita Mahony.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Bern. Just to give you some background, the inspiration for the story map came from a keen desire to find out where our young Irish people have left since the recession of 2008. Working in the research unit of Donegal County Council, we got numerous requests as to where they had gone, what skill levels they had, where they were working, and this information wasn't available. So we embarked on a journey to find out where the global Irish are, to look at the factors to try and bring them back home, or what would entice them to come back. And also we have included a global skills locator as a call of action, a survey to find out the information that we required. So the Irish love to tell a story, so let me take you on a brief journey here. So 250,000 people left Ireland since 2008. In fact, 45% were under the age of 25 and were very highly skilled. So for those who left, we wanted them to understand why they had to leave. So we looked at the economic cycle, and we can see here in 2008, GDP plummeted, unemployment soared, and in tandem, immigration began to rise significantly. But with the dawn of the recovery, the Irish economy is improving. We are looking at ways, innovative ways, to bring our young people back home. So we stumbled across a UN data set, and this showed where the global Irish, the people born in Ireland, actually live now. So it allowed us to do the time-enabled layer of the global spread, and it shows the global reach of where our young people have gone. We also included a chart to see what changes and trends over time, even out of the traditional locations of the United States, Canada, and Australia. There's a lot more countries emerging as to where our young people have gone to. It also got me thinking about What are the influential factors to bring young people back home? Jobs would be a main one. We have a very strong Indigenous base in Ireland, but there are also 800 overseas companies located in Ireland. So we used the global map as a mechanism to allow young people, if they're in Australia, to see what countries Australian companies are now based in Ireland, and could they target those for jobs. We also looked at competitive house prices, knowing now that young people are more inclined to move outside of the capital city, Dublin, to where there are cheaper and affordable housing. So we did some analysis as well and looked at house prices and how those changed since last year. We also looked at the healthiest towns and produced a heat map. And this came from the census, how people deemed their own health to be. So out of that then, young people again could determine where they would like to live, health being such an important factor. We looked at the shortest commute as well. And this represents commutes to work, college and school under 30 minutes. So the areas coloured in red are obviously the best in the rural locations where to live for the shortest commutes. We also know Ireland has a stunning landscape, and we wanted to use this as a gentle reminder of, I suppose, if you're away from home, what is there. And for anyone who hasn't visited Ireland, I would strongly urge you to come and visit our beautiful country. So now equipped with information, we develop the Global Skills Locator. And this is a call to action to participate and tell us when you left, what skills you have, what work experience you have since you left. And it's a two-way flow of information. It's to allow young people to connect with job opportunities back home, but it's also to allow our policymakers to target specific sectors to entice companies to come based on what our young diaspora are qualified in. So we just asked them to supply quite basic information, tell us where in the world they are located, and then submit it as well. So that's really Ireland's call to return its global diaspora home. Last week I attended a meeting in the Irish Department of Foreign Affairs, who are particularly keen to look at this approach as a strategy to bring the Irish diaspora back. So for anyone sitting out there today thinking on developing a story map, this is where you can be. So I'd like to thank Esri, Bernie and Jack for everything you've done. Esri Ireland, Tony, Mike, Mikey and Joanne and all the team back in Dublin, my colleagues from Ireland as well, to thank you all for the opportunity. Go raibh míle maith agad.